Way Out West is my love letter to the American West. And I envisioned this to be a very cinematic project, one where I take you out to the outer edge of the Mojave Desert and ask you to take my hand and trust me to take you on a blue sky, palm tree, cactus-sized, alien-ized, psychedelic, twangified journey through the spirit world of a superlative style of country music.
So flying saucers, scorpions, crawling around in the hot, hot sun. Cowboys and Indians, little green men, had poisonous saints all over my skin. Big Chief said, come and be my guest. Step across the line, then you're way out west. Way out west.
Well, there's an old saying, it all begins with a song. First two albums that I ever owned were Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs' Greatest Hits and the fabulous Johnny Cash. There was a song on that Johnny Cash record called Don't Take Your Guns to Town. And from the first line, a young cowboy named Billy Joe grew restless on the farm.
A boy filled with wanderlust who really meant no harm. He changed his clothes and shined his boots and combed his dark hair down. But his mother cried as he walked out, don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town.
That song transported me from my bedroom down in Mississippi out here to the West. And it was the beginning of a lifelong love affair with the landscape, the people, the music, and the sense of style that just lives here. And after I got to know John R. Cash, I realized that he could have easily lived in the 19th century because he sang Western story songs as if he had been there when it happened.
Red Cloud, Crazy Horse, and Gall, he was surrounded by them all. And the general, he don't ride well anymore. Tell your U.S. government thank it for these nice warm army blankets. And the general, he don't ride well anymore. Big and Marty.
The fabulous Superlatives, they're the band of a lifetime. Handsome Harry Stinson plays the drums, Cousin Kenny Vaughan plays the guitar, Professor Chris Scruggs plays the bass and everything else. But their musical abilities individually or collectively are just off the chart. And I view them as brothers, musical missionaries or mercenaries depending on how you look at it. But as a group, we've always drifted along to wherever the spirit leads us, with the roots of country music as our bedrock. And this project began with all of us sitting around talking about what came from this part of the country that inspired us as young musicians. I said, well, the Batmobile, Go-Go Girls, Morticia Adams, cool TV cowboys like Paladin and Have Gun Will Travel, Fender guitars, the style of clothes that Porter Wagner wore.
Sunset Strip in 1966 when bands wore bell-bottoms and cowboy hats and polka dot shirts and stripes and that kind of stuff.
We've got Barris cars, we've got Von Dutch paint jobs, we've got set designers staying up all night, throwing something together just in time to make it look right on TV.
TV characters that were halfway mod and halfway Western, like Wild Wild West.
There was Buck Owens, there was Ventura Boulevard, there was the Whiskey A Go-Go, there was Crosby, Stills and Nash, there was Mr. Ed, and there was Zuba Beach.
Oh, and Merle Haggard.
But specifically, the more we talked and played, it was California's brand of country music that we all agreed upon. I love it. It was renegade and edgy, and I dearly love what came from Nashville, but the West Coast sound hit just a little bit harder.
In California, they did two things that were very different at the same time. On the one hand, the California artists embraced rock and roll. They turned the drums up in the mix. They strapped on electric guitars and they played with more of an edge to them. But on the other hand, they embraced the twangy side at the same time. The steel guitar got even twangier than it had ever been before, thanks to people like Ralph Mooney and Norm Hamlet. So I think that's part of the California attitude as well, is that it throws the rule book out the window and it says, this is the new world, this is the West Coast, we can do it however we want.
However, there was one record that seemed to tie the North, East, South, and West together back then, and it was Marty Robbins' Gunfighter Ballads. It had a song called El Paso in it.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
And even though it wasn't a record made out here in the West, it could have been. Marty Robbins was a big inspiration during the creation of Way Out West, and he truly was a Nashville country music king and the guy my mother named me after.
The shadows are friendly, well, friends, well, I've got many, as far as I know. In old Mexico, in old Mexico, in old Mexico.
One of the undisputed kings of the West was the poet of the common man, Mr. Merle Haggard. Merle was one of my dearest friends. I could talk to him about anything. He taught me a whole lot about the world of West Coast country music.
My good gal's trying to make a fool out of me. Lord, my gal's trying to make a fool out of me.
The first thing I noticed is what a rock-solid fan base there is for country music out here. After our first really successful tour on the West Coast, I called Merle and said, I'd like to thank you, and wish that I could call and thank Buck Owens for creating a road for all of us to ride on out here in the West, and training all of these audiences to respond the way they do to country music. And Hag said, well, you're welcome, but we should all thank the Maddox Brothers and Rose. They were the first ones to open the door out here and turn the lights on.
Let's smile and dance with the Maddox Brothers and Rose, the most colorful Western and hillbilly band in America. And be sure and stay tuned. Your local announcer will tell you where the Maddox Brothers and Rose and when that we're going to appear in your neighborhood. Here's Rose, the sweetheart of hillbilly swing and little sister of the Maddox Brothers and Rose. She's going to tell you about our get-together.
Thanks, Fred, and hello, friends out in Radio Land. I want to invite all of our friends out to see the Maddox Brothers and Rose because we want to meet the whole family and sing the songs that you've been hearing on our 4-star record. We've got the best uniforms in the business, but you'll have to see them to appreciate them, and all of our songs are stage show numbers, so whether you dance or not, come on out and we'll keep you entertained.
You made the freight train boogie as you roll down the line.
They were one of the first bands out on the West Coast to plug into Fender amplifiers and turn up loud. And in addition to, like I was saying with the Bakersfield sound of the 50s and 60s was very country and also very rocking, they established that much earlier in the 1940s, where they plugged in, they turned up, they had distortion on their guitars, but they had fiddle and steel guitar, and it was unapologetically hillbilly.
Wow, the Maddox Brothers and Rose were a wild little band. They traveled in Cadillacs, a fleet of Cadillacs. They wore great cowboy clothes, and they played honky-tonk music wilder than anybody you ever heard.
When Don Juan Maddox came to play with us on our TV show, it gave me a feeling of a thumbnail of what the Maddox Brothers and Rose must have sounded like, felt like. They were the first ones to really wear the Turk outfits, the rhinestones, and go up and down the road singing and being crazy like a jalopy that's got maybe 3 wheels. It's barely staying on the road.
I got a gal, she's little and low. She used to love me, but she don't no more. I had to step it up and go. Yeah, I go. Step it up and go. Woo! Well, I can't stand it, and I'll swear I gotta step it up and go.
If I were in charge of things, I would see to it on my first day in office that the Maddox Brothers and Rose were inducted simultaneously into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Country Music Hall of Fame.
I saw a bumper sticker in Hollywood once that read, "Welcome to California, pick a decade and fit in." I came to California for the first time in 1974. I was a teenager playing in Lester Flatt's band. Lester loved this community, and he was loved back because he and Earl Scruggs were famous for their Beverly Hillbillies thing.
Marty, Granny and me always had to do a little dance on this number, so if you'll kind of join in and help me out. If you'll take my part, I'll see if I can do just a step or two of Granny's part. How's that sound?
As I said, I got here in the early 70s as fast as I could, but it was the country music scene of the 1960s that really captivated me, and apparently it captivated the rest of the world as well. The standard was set out here in the 1960s. Case closed.
You lose 16 pounds, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
Oh, that's a good one. A 1 or 2 and away we go.
Now Dooley's on the mountain, he lies there all alone. They put a chuck beside him and a barrel for a stone. Dooley slipping up the holler, Dooley trying to make a dollar. Dooley, give me a sparrer and a payback someday. And a payback someday.
Good. Thank you. Now, my next guest is a guy who sold over 2 million records. He must be real good, because a lot of people who bought them don't even own phonographs. Buck Owens and his Buckaroo.
How long is forever? How soon is now or never? How long do these heartaches linger on? And how long will my baby be gone? Tonight the bottle let me down, and let your memory come around. The one true friend I thought I'd found. Tonight the bottle let me down. It's such a pretty world today. Just look at the sunshine, and every day's the same since I met you.
Excuse me for living my whole life for you. Excuse me for breathing your name like I do.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. All right. And San Quentin, just for you. San Quentin, you've been living hell to me.
And I need you more than want you. And I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line.
I had a conversation with Roger McGuinn one time, and I asked him if living in and around the San Fernando Valley in the 1960s was as cool as I think it was. He said you could ride down the streets in a convertible and smell the jasmine.
I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now.
When I first moved to Nashville and joined Lester Flatt's band, I was 13 years old. My mother and dad and my sister still lived down in Mississippi, so I needed somewhere to live, and so a band member in Lester's band named Roland White invited me to live with him and his family. Roland had a wonderful record collection, and I noticed there was a stack of Byrds albums. And I said, "What's the deal with all these Byrds records?" He says, "My brother Clarence plays the guitar for the Byrds." And I fell in love with Clarence's guitar playing. He instantly became a guitar hero of mine. But one record in particular was called Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And it was the first time that I ever heard country music and honky-tonk music and rock and roll and soul and folk and gospel music collide successfully. When you listen to contemporary country music, it can all pretty much be traced back to the Sweetheart of the Rodeo record and all of the people involved in the making of that record.
Clouds so swift, rain won't lift, gate won't close, railings froze. Get your mind off winter time, you ain't going nowhere.
My idea of the perfect day in this town in the 1960s? Well, that would be getting in a cool California car, riding over to Nudi's Rodeo Tailor on Lankershim Boulevard in North Hollywood to get some cool cowboy clothes, having lunch at Ernie's Taco House, maybe on the same street, then going to Capitol Studios for a recording session, maybe a late afternoon visit with Clarence White, Roger McGuinn, and the rest of the Byrds at their band house, and finish off the day at the Palomino Club, where there was always a mix of country stars, movie stars, and rock and roll stars. When me and the Superlatives finally had the vision in place for Way Out West, I knew that the project needed to be recorded out here, in this atmosphere. And I knew that we needed somebody to help us, to push us, and to keep us honest. One man came to mind, and his name is Mike Campbell. Good songs, good band, good studio, good instruments, something usually happens, right?
Yeah.
Mike is a world-class musical citizen who understands and appreciates everything that's been talked about in this film. And I wanted us to go to a new, adventurous space in country music, all the while honoring the legacy of all that's come before us out here. And I had full confidence that this rock and roll Hall of Famer, who happens to be one of their greatest guitar players and one of the greatest rock bands on the planet, was the perfect soul to help us in creating a brand new chapter in country music history.
Some of it was done at the Capitol Tower, a very formal recording studio, a very legendary building, and definitely one of the top studios in the world. On the other hand, a lot of it was done at Mike Campbell's home studio.
He surrounded us with just all the right things, the layout of the room, the UFOs, the guitars, the old board, the space.
Here performing Time Don't Wait, please welcome Marty Stuart and his fabulous Superlatives.
When we went to record Way Out West, we had to go way out west. So we went out there where the skies are clear and the air is nice and dry.
Wait for the morn. Wait for the morn. It won't be long. It won't be long. We're going home.
There's a song on Way Out West called Whole Lotta Highway with 1,000,000 miles to go. And the second verse says, "The white line is a mystery, a never-ending trail that knows more about me than I know about myself. But it keeps calling, and I keep driving through the wind and the rain and snow, seeing a whole lot of highway with 1,000,000 miles to go. That's so true. It's the adventure of it all that I love so much. And here's something that I believe to be true for all of mankind. If you will listen to your spirit and let it guide your heart, then follow your heart at whatever the cost or wherever you're led, you will always come out at the right place doing the right thing. This time, my heart led me to a place I dearly love, the West, way out west. What a ride.
Well, once again, we've come to the long and short of it here on Ranch Party. Of course, I mean Joe Maphis and little Larry Collins. And 4 guitars, you count them. 4 guitars, early American. 1, 2, 3, 4.